American Midwest, 1874. The Great Plains stretch like a sea of gold beneath a slate-gray sky. They crossed an ocean for hope, then crossed a continent for survival. But fate had one more test waiting. Burning steel and broken dreams. Prairie, day, train wreckage. Smoke rides from the charred skeleton of a passenger train. The scorched grass around it still smolders. Splintered wood, twisted iron, and lifeless bodies litter the land. In the distance, 10 girls, dressed in soot-stained petticoats and shawls, stumble through the grass, dazed and trembling. The oldest, Nora Finnegan, 14, walks ahead, shielding her younger sister Bridget, 9, who clutches her waist with wide, tear-streaked eyes. Bound for the convent in Fort Laramie, orphans of the famine. Promised safety, promised sanctuary. But the prairie don't care for promises. Wrecked train car, evening. Inside the mangled remains of a coach car. The girls huddle like frightened birds in a nest of ruin. Wind whistles through shattered windows. Rain spatters the floor. Sarah, 12, shivers and hugs her knees. Lily, 8, sucks her thumb, eyes blank. Nora, whispering, "We can't wait here. They ain't comin'." Lightning cracks across the sky. Somewhere, a coyote howls. Prairie, series of shots. The journey begins. The girls walk, barefoot, through endless plains. Blisters bloom on their feet. Their skirts tear on barbed grass. One girl collapses under the sun, Molly, 11. Nora lifts her, teeth gritted. A storm rolls in. Man versus nature. Rain lashes sideways like whips. The wind roars. The girls scream and cover their heads as hail pelts down. They find brief shelter under a dying cottonwood. Rattling in the grass. A rattlesnake coils, ready to strike. Bridget gasps. In a blur, Nora grabs a splintered branch and smashes down, killing the snake. The girls stare at her, awed, afraid. Plains, dusk. Hunger, exhaustion. They walk slower now, eyes sunken, hopes dim. Up ahead, a ranch fence. A solitary horseman watches them from a ridge. Samuel Riggs, 42. Tall, gaunt, with eyes like flint. He's been alone since the day his wife died giving birth to their stillborn son. His land is empty but for wind and cattle bones. Samuel sees the girls and doesn't move, just watches. Girl OS faintly. "Please, mister. We got no one." Silence. He rides down slowly, dismounts, opens the gate wordless. Int. Ranch house, night. The girls sit around a battered table, devouring stale cornbread, sips of rainwater from chipped mugs. Samuel leans against the wall, arms folded, watching but not speaking. The house is lifeless. No laughter, no music, just dust and shadows. But now it breathes again, through the giggle of Lily sneaking an extra bite, or the clink of Maggie's, 10, spoon on tin plate. He didn't ask names, didn't ask stories, but 10 ghosts now shared his roof. And ghosts don't leave easy. Barn, later that night. Nora bathes Bridget in a wooden tub, gently wiping blood from her cheek. Tears fall silently from Nora's eyes as Bridget leans into her. At the corner, Anna, 13, fingers a tiny crucifix, whispering to it. Anna, softly, "Bring Ma back, please." Ranch, next morning. Samuel patches the hole in a swinging barn door, hammer in hand, jaw clenched. Each strike echoes across the empty fields. Not just fixing the wood, he's atoning. His eyes flick up. He sees the girls gathering tumbleweed, singing faintly. The wind shifts, and for the first time in years, he doesn't feel alone. Samuel's room, night. A flickering lantern. Samuel sits on the edge of his bed, holding an old letter. His wife's handwriting faded but familiar. Her voice, soft, echoes in memory. Wife's voice, VO. "If you ever find yourself alone, Open your door to someone who needs a home. His eyes sting. He looks toward the window, where laughter drifts in from the bunk room. Bunk room, same night. The girls sleep crammed onto straw pallets and folded quilts. Maggie curls up with her ragdoll. Sarah sleep talks in Irish. Bridget holds tight to Nora's hand. And in the far corner, Nora remains awake, eyes scanning the dark. 10 wandered out of fire and hunger and found a man who'd given up on mercy. But mercy found him anyway, through tiny feet and quiet prayers. Prairie, early morning. A rooster crows against the slow rise of dawn. Chickens scatter in the dust. The 10 orphan girls move about the ranch, clumsy but willing. Nora struggles with the water pump, arms shaking. It jams. Samuel appears, silent. He kneels, tightens the iron lever, gives it a firm jerk. Water bursts out. Nora, softly, "Thank you." Samuel nods. That's all. The old man turns and walks away without a word, leaving her with the sunrise and the bucket. Ranch house, kitchen, night. Flickering lantern light casts shadows on the wooden walls. Nora snoops curiously in the dusty pantry and finds a sketchbook wedged between cookbooks. She opens it. Pages filled with pencil drawings, a woman's face, a cradle, a baby with curls. More drawings. The baby disappears, replaced by scratchy ink and dark cross-hatching. Nora VO. She was real to him. All of it was. Barn, late night. Wind howls through the rafters. Samuel sits on a crate beside a half-empty bottle of whiskey. His boots are caked in years of silence. He cradles a small wooden horse, edges worn smooth. Samuel, murmuring to the shadows. 10 girls. I couldn't save one. He grips the toy tighter. Flashback VO. Wife's voice. If you ever find yourself alone, open your door to someone who needs a home. He shuts his eyes. The wind grows stronger. Prairie Road, day. A lone horseman approaches. Sheriff Lowell, gray coat, snakeskin boots, and a smile made of threats. Front yard, moments later. Samuel stands stiff as the sheriff reins in his horse. Sheriff Lowell, 10 Irish girls? That's what you got here. Chuckles. That's mighty charitable. Or foolish. Samuel's face doesn't move. Sheriff Lowell, suinteed. You expect me to believe you're just helpin'? No other plans? Samuel doesn't flinch. From the porch, Nora watches, eyes wide, heart pounding. The man's voice feels oily. Dangerous. Sheriff Lowell mocking. You ain't hiding nothin'. Are you, Riggs? Samuel's hand inches toward the axe beside the stump. Samuel low. You need to leave now. Lowell's eyes narrow. He tips his hat and rides off, dust kicking behind him. Men like that don't knock twice. Next time, they bring fire. Dirt road, sunset. Maggie Rains, half Choctaw, all grit, arrives on a paint mare. She wears braids, deer-hide gloves, and carries a satchel of herbs. Barn, evening. Maggie greets Samuel with a firm nod. Maggie. Sheriff's crawlin', with buzzards. The kind who want girls that can't scream loud. You've invited wolves, Sam. Samuel. Didn't invite them. But they're comin'. She sighs, sees the sketches pinned near the lantern. Her face softens. Maggie. She'd have been proud of you, if pride counts for anything in the grave. Ranch. Training montage. Maggie shows the girls how to aim a rifle, load a pistol, tighten a saddle. They fall, get back up, laugh, get scolded. Dirt under their fingernails. Nora takes a liking to a wild mare. Ashes, black as night and full of fight. Ashes rears, nearly bucks her. Nora stands her ground. Maggie watching, takes fire to touch fire. Ranch house, night. Bridget coughs violently in the dark. Feverish, delirious. Samuel sits beside her, wringing out a cloth, placing it on her head. He doesn't speak, just waits, just listens. Nora peeks in from the hallway, watching him. For once, the man looks fragile. Nora, she reminds you of someone? Samuel nods, doesn't meet her eyes. Samuel, would have been. The words break something in him. A tremble in his chin. A tear slides down his cheek. He wipes it before it falls. Prairie, the next day. Sheriff Lowell returns, this time with 2 deputies, faces hard, rifles slung across their backs. Sheriff Lowell, we've been talkin' at town council, thinkin' maybe the girls oughta be relocated. Samuel, they're not cattle. Sheriff Lowell, no, but they might be sheep, and sheep need herd in. The tension crackles. One deputy sneers, hand on his revolver. Samuel says nothing, just steps between the men and the house. Samuel, over my dead body. Sheriff Lowell cold. That can be arranged. The standoff lingers. Then the sheriff turns and rides off. But it ain't over. Int. Ranch house. Night before raid. Samuel sits at the table, gun oil soaking into rags. The girls are asleep, huddled like kittens in blankets. Nora creeps down the stairs. Nora, you'll fight for us? He doesn't look up, keeps cleaning the rifle. Samuel, I already am. Horizon night. Thunderclouds roll across the moon. The hollow hill was quiet once, but the storm had found it now, and 10 girls would not go silent into the dark. Prairie night. A storm brews on the horizon. Thunder rumbles like war drums across the darkened plains. Atop Juniper Hill, a single lantern flickers near the barn. When the wolves come, the flock must either scatter or fight. And sometimes, even ghosts can hold a rifle. In the distance, torches, hooves pounding, 5 riders, silhouettes against the stormlight. Sheriff Lowell leads them, rifle across his saddle horn, cruelty in his sneer. Ranch yard, same. Samuel stands at the gate, shotgun loaded. Nora stands beside him, shaking, but standing. Maggie and the girls are behind, leading the youngest into the root cellar. Maggie urgent, low whisper. If we go down, you stay down. No matter what you hear, no matter who screams. She pulls the heavy cellar door shut. Nora, to Samuel, breathless. We're not ready. Samuel, low, resolute. No one ever is. We still stand. Prairie Ridge, continuous. Sheriff Lowell and his men dismount. Guns unslung. Hatchets glint in the lantern light. Sheriff Lowell. Samuel Riggs. You're harboring runaways. That's a federal offense. Let 'em go, and I won't burn your land to the dust. Samuel steps forward, blood in his eyes, pain behind it. Samuel, you want them? Come and try. Gunfire erupts. Explosions rip through the stillness. A bullet hits the water trough. Another shatters a lantern. Fire dances in the dry grass. Samuel takes cover behind a haystack. Fires once. Hits a rider in the shoulder. Root cellar, same. The girls flinch at each shot. One begins to cry. Maggie covers her mouth, then prays in Choctaw. Maggie softly, Mother Earth, wrap them in stone. Keep them till thunder passes. Barn, same. Nora clutches the shotgun, breath trembling. Samuel bleeds from a graze to the ribs, but doesn't stop. One of the sheriff's men charges toward the house. Nora, screaming, no. She lifts the shotgun. Blast. The man drops like a sack of bones. Her hands shake, but she reloads. Samuel, gritting teeth. That's it, girl. Don't shake. Stand tall. Barn later. Only 2 of the sheriff's men remain. One is limping. Another crawls. Samuel fires again. Hits the leg. The attacker screams and scuttles away into the grass. Sheriff Lowell growling. This is your last chance, Riggs. These girls are property. I got papers. Samuel, shouting back. You can wipe with those papers, Lowell. Final stand. Sheriff Lowell versus Nora. Lowell flanks them. Quiet, cruel. He slips through the barn's side door and finds Nora loading shells. He cocks his revolver behind her. "Sheriff Lowell, you're just a gutter girl. No name, no right. Should have died on that train." Nora spits. "Then you shouldn't have let me live." But her hands tremble. She drops a shell. The sheriff steps forward. Suddenly, Samuel appears behind him, bleeding, barely standing. "Samuel, horse. She's got more right than you ever did." Bang. Lowell stiffens, turns. Samuel shot him point blank in the chest. The sheriff collapses, dead in the dirt. Silence follows, broken only by thunder. Ranch, later, rain falls. The storm opens up. Rain cleanses blood from the earth. The girls crawl out of the root cellar, staring in awe. Ashes, the skittish mare Nora trained, stands at the gate, calm, as if knowing the war has passed. Samuel drops to one knee, blood soaking his shirt. Nora runs to him. Nora, tears. "Don't die. Please don't die." He looks up at her, rain on his face. "Samuel, you brought me back from a long, dark place. Don't stop now." She holds him as the storm washes the dead away. Weeks later, montage. The barn is rebuilt, painted white. Flowers bloom in front of the house. Bridget runs with the chickens. Giggles echo in the sun. Samuel, arm in sling, teaches one girl to hammer nails. Nora carves initials into a fence post. J.H. Juniper Hill. The girls hang a wooden sign. Juniper Hill Orphan Homestead. Field day. Nora buries a small pouch, ashes of her mother, beneath the juniper tree. Samuel kneels beside her, plants lilacs. Samuel quietly. Some things grow from pain. Nora. Some grow because they're finally home. Final image. EXT, prairie sunset. All 10 girls ride out across the hill. Nora leading on ashes. Samuel rides behind, a quiet guardian. They disappear into the golden horizon. Out here, family ain't always blood. Sometimes it's the hand that lifts you when no one else would. The name you earn. The love that holds like iron. Juniper Hill was born in fire, but it grew in light. Out here, family ain't always blood. Sometimes it's the hand that lifts you, the voice that calls you home when the world turned its back. If this story stirred your soul, like this video, share it with someone who still believes in second chances. And hit subscribe for more frontier stories that prove love, loyalty, and courage don't wear fancy clothes. They wear dust and scars. Question for the viewers. Would you have taken the girls in, knowing the cost? Tell us in the comments. The West remembers those who dared to care.